at my local Meijer store. I'm gonna show you guys how to make healthy selections at the grocery store, okay? Follow me this way. So the first thing you want to do when you get to the grocery market is work the edges. The edges of the grocery store are always going to have your bulk food items that are going to make your plate the most healthiest, okay? Follow me this way and I'll show you. As you can see, this area is all your fruits and vegetables. So about 70% of your cart should be filled with stuff from this area. This is where the bulk of what your plate should consist of. People always ask me how much fruit should they eat. I would say if your goal is to lose weight, go for a typical serving size. So that might be 3 servings a day, which a serving of fruit could be 1 orange, a 4th cup of raspberries, because raspberries have a lot of sugar, or a cup of watermelon. And you know, a cup of watermelon adds up quickly. But if your goal is just normal health and trying to bulk, I would say, you know, you don't have to pay as much attention to how many fruits and vegetables are on your plate, at least fruits, because they're higher in sugar, okay? So these are all a bunch of fruits here. And then you want to work your way over to vegetables, okay? I like to get my vegetables from the back wall. Typically they're fresher and they get rinsed off, so they're not as much dirt on. So I typically get most of my leafy greens from this wall because, as you can see, it's wet. It's actually spraying water on it about every 15 minutes. So whenever people, you still have to go home and clean it, but it's just not as caked up and dirty. Typically I would get a lot of like kale from here, or even cucumbers from here, parsley, cilantro, and carrots, all from this back wall. So I sometimes buy bunches of spinach from over there, but if not, if I'm in a rush, these are totally fine too. You know, like the bags of lettuce. They might cost you more, but honestly, 2 or 3 bags, you can make a nice full salad to last you for the week. And they already have veggies inside of some of them. For example, this one is one of my favorite ones to get because it already has carrots and red cabbage, romaine lettuce, and iceberg. And I typically would mix that with the spring mix for more antioxidants and vitamins. Spinach is always going to be more power packed as a nutrient. I also usually buy a lot of tomatoes and cucumbers from over here, as well as avocados and peppers. That's like a staple item that I buy on a weekly basis. I just have to have it in my diet. They're pretty empty this week. As far as starches go, I personally try to limit myself to sweet potatoes. Since my goal is to gain, it's fine if I do eat a red potato or a white potato, but they're just not as packed with nutrients. So I would typically buy more sweet potatoes just to get a more bang for your buck. I usually buy most of my nuts and protein sources from this stand because you get so much of a better price. So if you go down the actual nut aisle, it'll be a lot more for a bag like this. This bag is $6, same exact thing. I personally don't like sea salt. I get mine unsalted, but yeah. I would steer clear of this whole area. You do not need any other pastries or desserts. If you want some dessert, go make it yourself and make it homemade. You'll know how much sugar's in it. It'll be a lot healthier for you, even though it's kind of so splurgy. This whole section should be avoided. Put an X through it. Everything has so much sugar and it's not healthy, and they're trying to sell you and make you think it's healthy, but it's just not good for you. For example, this one thing, this actually, yeah, okay, we can use this as an example. This says, if you look at it, serving size, it's 2 servings in here. The average person is gonna drink this whole container, and it's 120 calories per serving, so you're gonna actually have 240. And then 21 grams of sugar per serving, you're at what, 42 grams of sugar. Each 4 grams of sugar is a teaspoon, so that means you're well over 10 teaspoons of sugar for this one thing. Personally, I don't think that smoothies are that healthy for you in general, because I don't You wouldn't normally just sit there and eat a whole bowl of fruit, so I don't think you should sit there and drink a whole bowl. I like to juice fruit. I put it in my juice with a lot of other power packed nutrients like cucumber, kale, and I might put apple and pineapple in it, which is still a good fruit, but now I'm limiting my actual fruit intake. So yeah, I would avoid this whole section. I would personally avoid this whole section too. A lot of lunch meats have been linked to different cancers. They're just really not that healthy for you. So even if you're like, oh, I just had a turkey breast sandwich, I would steer clear of turkey breast from, you know, lunch meat. If you want turkey breast, I would maybe cook some turkey and cut it, slice it that way. And don't ever buy your kids Lunchables. Y'all wrong. The same thing can pretty much be said about most sausages or hot dogs. They have the same kind of nutritional value as lunch meat. They're really bad. They're linked to cancers. So I avoid sausages as well. I would not eat that. If you did want a healthier option though, this would probably be the best one. Look for grass-fed beef, no hormones, no antibiotics. We can see how much calories it is. So one link is 170 calories. It does have 500 milligrams of sodium. So in one link, that's 21% of how much sodium you should have for the whole rest of the day. So that's something to think about. You know, do you like a lot of salt in your food? Because if you do, this one sausage link is probably going to put you over your limit. Okay. So if you're going to eat seafood, I always look for my seafood to say wild caught. So wild caught just means it's not farm raised. So if you look up farm raised fish, you'll see like it's not able to eat what it's supposed to eat. Basically like salmon, for example. Salmon is supposed to eat krill. That's what gives it its natural pink color. But when it's farm raised, it doesn't eat krill. So it comes out like a whitish gray color. So they actually dye it to make it pink just to sell it to you. So all the healthy omega-3 fatty acids you're supposed to be getting from that salmon, you're not getting because that salmon isn't eating what it's supposed to be eating. So I always try to get wild caught. When you switch over, it might have a different taste to you, but it's healthier. So I would definitely do that. Most of the time I don't get food from the freezer section, but if it's wild caught, it's not that bad for you, so I would get it. But I do tend to get most of my food from the food deli itself. So I always try to get my food from the deli themselves, from the butcher. Honestly, the price might be a little bit more, but you don't have to wait for your food to unthaw. It's fresher, it tastes better. They typically didn't get it that long ago, or else it still wouldn't be out. And I like the taste better. So yeah, let's get it right from up there and ask the butcher however many pounds you need. Okay, so we're still working our way along the outsides. As you see, I already would have had most of my fruits and vegetables, most of my protein. This block is also protein. You really can build your diet straight from the outsides of the food store and not need to go in the aisles. The aisles is where you get all your junk food, food that can be stored for a very long time with a very long shelf life and a very long expiration life. This food expires quickly. So I don't eat beef at all, but if you were gonna eat beef, I would try to go for like grass-fed. So for example, this beef says grass-fed, no added hormones, no added antibiotics, and it's non-GMO. And it's also way leaner than normal meat too, normal beef. So yeah, it costs more, but your health is definitely worth it. The same thing goes for chicken. I don't eat chicken, however, I will always look for organic, antibiotic-free chicken. So if I'm looking right now, this chicken says raised without antibiotics or growth stimulants, no animal or byproducts or hormones, and all vegetable-fed grain diet. So this would probably be one of the better ones to buy. Honestly, if I was to buy meat, I would actually go to like an Eastern Market or Royal Oak. I get a lot of my seafood products from there actually. And I'm buying it from somebody who actually raised this meat themselves. You can ask them those questions, you know, and it's actually a lot cheaper. Like people can buy literally half a cow for maybe $300. But you think about how many pounds half a cow would be. And you buy the cow from the farmer, you take it to a local butcher, the butcher cuts it up for you, you take it home, wrap each piece up, store it in your freezer, and now you have beef for like the whole year. The same thing with seafood. You typically buy a bigger amount, but you know that the seafood came directly from the fishermen. So, you know, and you're supporting another local Michigan business. So. Okay, so as you see now, we're getting to the dairy section. I limit dairy in my diet. However, if you eat dairy, here's all your dairy products.
So like, as a vegan, I limit dairy because of mucus. Do you limit dairy for like a different reason, or?
Actually, I started limiting dairy after I was vegan for a month or 40 days. I did it for Lent. And now I just don't like the way it makes my body feel. You feel such a difference. So I basically do mainly plant-based. Right now I do like a week of pescatarian, a week of vegan. That's how I'm doing it until I become fully vegan. But I definitely feel like being vegan was the best experience ever. I used to drink 2% milk and advocate for drinking regular milk. And now I only drink almond milk. It tastes just as good, you know, and it's just, you know that it's not, I don't know, nowadays everything's loaded with antibiotics and other stimulants. So what might have been healthy for somebody in 1950 is not healthy for you anymore. So that's the main reason I limit it. I don't even eat eggs anymore. However, if you do eat eggs, they're good source of protein. I would definitely say combine more egg whites instead of just the egg yolk, because the egg yolk is where all the cholesterol comes in. So when I did used to eat eggs, I might do 2 actual eggs and then like 4 egg whites. So now you have what, like 24 grams of protein. I don't think I did that math right, but you have a lot of protein. All your milk here. Yeah, I feel like I went to a farm actually, and a lot of them still eat like regular milk straight from the cow. Now, I feel like that milk is entirely different than this milk, because this milk came from a cow who produced probably however many gallons a day, well over the amount that a regular cow is supposed to produce, because the cow has one main function, to produce milk. And on a big milk farm, that's all the cows do all day long, is produce milk. So this is not as healthy as they make it seem. You're not going to get osteoporosis if you don't drink milk. So, okay, this is the milk that I drink right here. I go for the soaked milk, unsweetened almond milk, but whichever you like. Do you drink a different kind?
I drink that kind.
You do? With 30 calories?
I've had Breeze, but I don't like that kind.
I haven't had Breeze yet. Do they even sell it here?
Oh, almond Breeze? Yeah. Yeah, my band.
I would say avoid cream for your coffee. Honestly, you don't need it. If you don't like it black, you know, try to condition your body to like it black. If you're gonna drink it. Okay, we can talk about yogurt. Like I said, after I did the 40 days of vegan, I haven't went back to yogurt either, because once you clear your body from dairy products, you really can feel the difference. So I haven't came back to yogurt. However, if you're gonna have yogurt, make sure it's Greek yogurt and watch the calories on it. So, for example, we can compare, let's see how many grams of sugar is in here. Okay, so this actually isn't horrible. It's 17 grams of protein, so it's plenty of protein. Only 8 grams of sugar, so what, 2 teaspoons of sugar? However, when I did eat yogurt, I usually went for the light and fit. It's 80 calories, 12 grams of protein, and 7 grams of sugar. I haven't seen a lower yogurt, a yogurt with a lower amount of sugar yet. But I haven't eaten yogurt in a while, so maybe there's some. Other than that, the other yogurts are just full of sugar. Like the Yoplait, you know, it's just sugar. So I would definitely steer clear. As far as butter, I don't use butter at all for anything I cook. I substitute it with coconut oil. Coconut oil melts very buttery. It gives you a very similar taste. and it's healthier for you. So I definitely would encourage you to make the switch from butter to coconut oil because the taste is very similar. Same thing that I said about the smoothies and blended products with the juice. I do not buy juice. I don't drink juice. I just drink water. If I want juice, I personally invested my money into a juicer. So when I want that taste, I can just go juice raw oranges, whatever. And actually juicing raw oranges gives you a whole different color than regular orange juice. So I don't know how they got that color because it's not really orange at all. But yeah, you satisfy the craving. You're eating something way healthier. You can get a juicer as low as $100. I don't know how long it'll last you for $100, but it's definitely worth the investment. So far, that is the whole outside edges of the supermarket. Basically, you would have had your dairy products, your protein products, and your veggies and fruit. That's exactly what they recommend your plate to be filled with anyways. So now I'll show you guys a little bit about working the aisles, and I'll show you how much of it really can be avoided from your diet in general. The way they word things can be so deceiving in the market, and you have so many options that it's kind of overwhelming. But there's a huge difference when you're trying to buy bread. So I'll show you how to pick out the best type of bread for you. You always want to pick a whole grain bread. It's made with the whole grain versus a multi-grain, because the multi-grain just means that they use different grains to make the bread, but the whole grain means that they had to use the whole grain to use it. So multi-grain could be a combination of a bunch of unhealthy grains, and they can still label it multi-grain. Whole grain is a whole healthy grain for you. Another thing is, if the whole grain bread doesn't have at least 2 grams of fiber in it, then it's probably not really made with whole grains, because whole grains are so filling, it'll have at least more than 2 grams of fiber per serving, okay? So let's go see. Okay, so this will probably be a better example. Let's see. 100% whole wheat. Okay, so if you look at that, one slice is 100 calories. That's pretty accurate because you have a whole grain, a whole wheat, more calorie dense, and it's 2 grams of dietary fiber per serving. So this is probably actually made with whole grains. And the first ingredient is also whole grain wheat flour, okay? Now we compare that to honey wheat. Okay, so honey wheat sounds like it would be, you know, made with wheat. Notice it doesn't even say made with real wheat. It says made with real honey. Okay. Now when you look at this one, where is the fiber? The fiber is less than 1 gram per serving. Okay. Now, okay, it's less calories, but it's also less healthy for you. So I always say, like, you know, you count health, don't just count calories. Because this is less calories, but it's also going to not fill you up as much. You're going to be hungry later. And you're not going to have the same. This, if you made a sandwich, you would have 4 grams of protein. This, you might barely have 2. Because this admitted that it's less than 1 gram of fiber. So definitely believe that there. Now, earlier I said that the first ingredient here is whole grain wheat flour. So the order of ingredients tells you basically how healthy the product is. So if the first ingredient is whole grain wheat flour, the bulk of this bread is made with whole grain wheat flour, okay? They go in order of how much percentage of the product is made with it, okay? Now on the other hand, let's see this one, this light potato. The first ingredient is water. This is mainly water. No wonder you're gonna be hungry in 30 minutes after you eat a sandwich made with potato bread, because it's made mainly with water. Okay, so when you grocery shop, the ends of the aisle and the tops and bottoms are mainly gonna have your healthiest stuff, because companies pay more money to be directly eye level. They're trying to get you, okay? So you think this is the only healthy stuff they have, Special K. But then you keep coming and you see that they have, okay, it's Meyer brand, it's Ezekiel, which Ezekiel is actually the brand of bread that I prefer to eat. It's one of the healthier ones. They have Kashi, But all of this is kind of just thrown here at the end. It's way easier to pass up when you have this whole aisle of cereal, and this only has this very small section at the end. So yeah, and if I was gonna eat cereal, I would definitely go with some that has like nuts in it and oats in it. So I actually really like the Meyer brand of this for myself. It's fruit and nut. I don't not watching my calories, so dried fruit is gonna be more calorie dense and have more sugar in it, but I know I move a lot in my day, so I'm gonna burn it off quick. But if I wasn't gonna burn it off quick, maybe I would pick like just granola with almonds and ditch the fruit, okay? Because I'm still gonna be very full with that. It's granola, or I would probably go with Ezekiel. Okay, so as far as canned versus regular beans, so I would typically try to go for regular beans and not out of the can, and I'll show you why. So basically, less packaging is healthier. So I know you're like, this is a can, this is just a bag, but this overall is less packaging because all you have to do is put the dry beans in a bag instead of this is like condensed, has to have an expiration date at some point. This really doesn't have to have an expiration date because the beans are not going to expire. And if you look at the ingredients here, it says prepared black beans, water, and salt. This already has sodium added. Look, 20% of your daily value of sodium is right there, whereas the dry beans only have 1% of sodium. Now if you're in a rush and you have to buy this, that's fine, but I definitely thoroughly rinse it off, because if you don't, there's like a film over the beans, and it's all sodium just so they can preserve it longer. Now in terms of pasta, so if your goal is weight loss, I definitely would recommend spaghetti squash. It's literally a squash, and you can break the pasta out, and it's basically going to be 0 calories because it's just from a vegetable. However, I recently fell in love with the lentil pasta. The chickpea pasta is really good too, but the lentil pasta, I like the taste of it better. So this is organic red lentil spaghetti. And you know, you want to look for pasta that's made with vegetables basically. So this is made with beans. So if you look at it, it has 11 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber, and you can compare that to, let's compare it to this whole grain. Okay, because like I said, you're gonna think the whole grain is good, and it is fine, but this only has 8 grams of protein, and oh, this actually has a lot more fiber, surprisingly. So this has 7 grams fiber. Let's compare it to white pasta. Okay, so 7 grams of protein, 2 grams of fiber, okay? And if you look at the calorie difference, this is 190, 180, and 200. So like I said, I don't really compare calories that much because at the end of the day, what is 10 or 20 calories? But the levels of protein and fiber is what makes a humongous difference. So I still would personally go for the higher protein for my personal diet preferences. But if you know that your diet lacks fiber, then maybe the whole grain pasta might be better for you. Okay. If I'm gonna buy a granola bar, I try to go for a kind that has as least ingredients as possible. So this one has a low GI, no sugar alcohols, it's dairy free. I personally like no GMOs added, low sodium. And trans fat is really just trying to sell you, because I personally don't think fat is the enemy. I think sugar is the enemy. So you can see it's already low sugar, 5 grams of sugar per bar. Like I said, I don't pay attention to fat that much because nuts themselves have a lot of fat. And there's also 5 grams of fiber. Now if I look at the ingredients, the first ingredient is almonds, so it's mainly made with almonds, chicory, root fiber, palm kernel oil, sugar, honey, glucose syrup. So those are all 3 high sugar things, but the actual sugar isn't high in it. And I also can actually know what each of the ingredients are, which is personally good, what I like to eat. Now if you compare that with a Nature Valley sweet and salty bar, when I look at these ingredients, very quickly I get into like maltodextrin, or what else? Barley malt extracts. So just different things that you don't personally know what they are, probably is not the healthiest. This also has 8 grams of sugar, only 3 grams of fiber. Like I said, less calories, but less calories always doesn't mean less health, because you don't know what's in here. Okay. And buy tea, I would just get green tea. Matcha green tea is really healthy. Did I say that?
Matcha.
Matcha. But I personally just like regular green tea for the taste better, so I would get like this one. I know a lot of people like to get like tea detoxes. That's fine. I personally don't detox my body that often, because I feel like if I'm eating mainly healthy, I shouldn't need to just detox my body that much, nor do I expect the detox to just rid my body of everything unhealthy. So if you're getting this and expect to just be magically detoxed in a couple of days, I wouldn't think it's that much power in that tea to do all that. So I think it's just kind of like a scam to get you to buy it. Personally, if you want to detox, maybe put some ginger in your tea. Things that'll naturally detox you. It's so easy to just add into your tea versus trying to just buy one. Even lemons are a great form of detox that you can add to your water, to your tea, and naturally detox your body without having to buy something labeled detox. So when I buy oil, I mainly buy coconut oil. So I'll buy like the raw coconut oil and make sure it says 100% organic virgin coconut oil. I actually like that brand, and I like this brand also. Or I buy olive oil. So somebody told me that the darker the container, the better the olive oil is. I guess it's like how they preserve it. So if it's in like a clear container like this, it's just not as healthy for you. I forgot the actual reasoning, but I can look it up and tell you after. But yeah, so I always go for like darker containers, because I think that's how olive oil is supposed to be preserved. Now, as far as like the avocado oils and nuts oils, I've heard that they're healthy, but personally I've also heard that they have to be highly combusted to get it to that state. For example, how hard would you have to press on an avocado to get oil? Very, very, very hard. But if you press on olives, you can naturally see oil be extracted out of them. So the process of getting them is a lot cleaner. So I like to focus on oils that the process of extracting them is a lot cleaner, and you don't have to create a whole fire to get some oil. Okay, clear of all these fruits. If I want peaches, I go have peaches. If I want pears, I go have pears. Only because these say they're in heavy syrup. So this just added a lot more sugar to your usual peaches for no reason, okay? So I would avoid those. I know some people like to have apple cider vinegar. So I always buy this brand Bragg. I'm sure the True Goodness by Meyer is probably just as good. You want it with the mother. It's a process of how it gets to be apple cider vinegar. But it's way different than if you were to buy this apple cider vinegar, because this is not made with the mother, okay? So, and I don't recommend just having raw shots, because the vinegar is so acidic it can harm your teeth, okay? So I don't really ever buy a lot of frozen meals, because a lot of them have to have a lot more sodium in order to be preserved in that state and still taste good for you. I'll show you an example of a healthy meal that was turned unhealthy by how much sodium it has, okay? So, for example, Healthy Choice is like notorious for having healthy stuff. It's called Healthy Choice and being not that healthy. So, for example, if you were to have this sweet sesame chicken, okay, so if I look at it, it's 300 calories, 16 grams of protein, 43 grams of carbs, but 20% sodium. So this, honestly, 300 calories is not gonna fill you up that much. Like at all. If you are to eat 2,000 calories, this is a very small percentage of your actual diet. And if this has 20% sodium in it by itself, you're gonna be well over your sodium amount by the end of the day. And it's only 16 grams of protein. If you were to make this yourself with your own chicken, it would definitely have at least 20 grams of protein. And that's gonna make you feel a lot fuller. And it also is made with white rice. They definitely could have used brown rice just to get more fiber and keep you full longer. So I personally avoid these. If anything, I meal prep myself and freeze it sometimes, especially when I know I meal prep too much and I can't eat it, and that kind of helps me extend my meals out because I always have something in the freezer section. Now I would say frozen vegetables are really good, and frozen fruits too, because most of them don't really have a lot of additive stuff unless you get into like the steamable bags. The steamable bags are definitely going to have extra sodium for the most part. If you get like, let's say I got like this Southwest style rice. Since they decided to season it for me, they also decided to add 35% of my daily sodium in this one bag, okay? Now you definitely can just make your own corns and peppers and onion mix and add brown rice to it. And they even have this mix, corn, peppers, and onions, already in here somewhere that you can buy by itself and have a similar taste and add your own salt to it. And not eating anything that's unhealthy for you. Like I definitely get we all want to eat something every once in a while. So when I personally want to eat something that's like a little bit unhealthy, I really like ice cream. So this is the only dairy product that I haven't actually cut out yet. I like Halo Top ice cream, and I will show you why. So I usually get the one that's just 300 calories or 280. So I'll get like the vanilla bean, or I'll get chocolate, just pure chocolate, not all the extra stuff. They have these made with coconut milk too, in case you are vegan friendly. But as you see, okay, first of all, I eat the whole thing. Sometimes I eat half and put the other half away, but if you did eat the whole thing is just 280 calories, right? And then if you broke it up into servings, one serving is 70 calories. You have 3 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein. So if you were to eat the whole thing, you also would have 20 grams of protein. Now let's compare it to this Talenti gelato, because I don't know if people think because it's named gelato is healthy, but that's not a thing. It's not healthy. It's just gelato. It's just a different type of ice cream. Now this is 840 calories, okay? 26 grams of protein, so this is 26 grams of sugar. So this is 104 things of sugar in here, 104 grams of sugar. And 4, 8, 12, 16 grams of protein. So you do have some protein, but overall, if you compare the two, it's like crazy. This one serving of this is almost 4 servings of this. And as you can see, the products are almost the same exact size, you know. So pick this over this, okay? Definitely. Okay. So if you like pancakes or waffles, I really like the brand Kodiak Cakes. I personally buy it in the dry form, less preservatives, like I said, less processed. It doesn't have to physically get made by somebody else. You can put it in the freezer. But if you are on the go and you like pancakes, this is a better option. So this has 12 grams of protein for 2.
Sorry.
Okay, versus if you were to buy these waffles, this has 4 grams of protein for 2 and only 50 calorie difference between the two. So this also has a lot more fiber. This has 3 grams of fiber per serving. This has less than 1 gram. When it has less than 1 gram, it's basically not a gram in there. It's not anything in there. They can just put that on there when they know that it can be very, very small amount. you guys so much for joining me. I really hope you learned something, and I hope this video helps you shop better and easier in the grocery store. Remember, work your way around the edges. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. Always eat something beforehand, and basically buy the bulk of your foods around the outside, okay? Only go inside for very select items. Thank you so much for joining in. You can follow me on Instagram at bri.had. Have a great day.